In a prosperous kingdom, there lived a wealthy merchant named Armin. He was known far and wide for his riches and influence, but also for his arrogance and disdain for those he deemed beneath him. Armin believed that wealth and power were the only things that mattered in life, and he looked down on anyone who lacked them. One day, as he was walking through the marketplace, his eyes fell upon a ragged beggar sitting by the side of the road. The beggar, old and frail, reached out a trembling hand and asked for some coins to buy food. Armin sneered, stepping back in disgust. "Why should I give you anything?" Armin scoffed. "You're nothing but a useless beggar, a burden to society." The beggar, though humiliated, looked at Armin with calm eyes. "Sir," he said softly, "one should not despise those who are less fortunate. You never know who might be the hand that saves you from falling." Armin laughed mockingly. "Save me? You? Don't make me laugh. You can barely stand on your own feet." With that, Armin tossed a few coins into the dirt, far out of the beggar's reach, and walked away, the beggar's warning lost on his proud ears. Time passed, and Armin's wealth grew, but so did his arrogance. He believed he was untouchable, destined for greatness that no one could take away. Then one night, as he was returning from a lavish banquet, his carriage was attacked by a group of bandits. They were ruthless and armed, and Armin found himself dragged out into the dark forest. The leader of the bandits sneered at him. "We've heard of your riches, merchant. Tonight you'll pay the price for your arrogance." Armin, terrified, pleaded with them. "Take whatever you want, just spare my life." But the bandits were not interested in mercy. They tied him to a tree, laughing as they left him alone in the wilderness, vulnerable and afraid. Hours passed, and the cold night air chilled him to the bone. He struggled against the ropes, his desperation growing with each passing moment. Just as he was about to lose hope, he heard the faint sound of footsteps approaching. Out of the shadows emerged the same beggar he had mocked in the marketplace. Armin's eyes widened in disbelief as the beggar knelt beside him. "You?" Armin gasped. "What are you doing here?" The beggar didn't answer immediately. Instead, he carefully cut the ropes that bound Armin's hands, freeing him. "I saw the bandits take you," he said quietly. "I followed them here." Armin, rubbing his wrists, looked at the beggar with a mixture of gratitude and shame. I'm sorry for how I treated you," he stammered. "I was wrong." The beggar nodded, a gentle smile on his lips. "Everyone makes mistakes. But remember, no one is so high that they cannot fall, and no one is so low that they cannot rise." Armin, overwhelmed by the beggar's kindness, felt tears prick his eyes. "You've saved my life tonight. How can I ever repay you?" The beggar shook his head. "You don't owe me anything. Just remember this moment the next time you look down on someone. You never know who might be your savior." With that, the beggar turned and walked away, leaving Armin alone with his thoughts. The proud merchant, humbled and ashamed, returned to his estate a changed man. From that day on, he treated everyone he met with kindness and respect, regardless of their status. He helped those in need, shared his wealth, and listened to their stories. Whenever he felt the old arrogance rising within him, he remembered the beggar's calm eyes and the words that had saved his life. Years later, when he became known as a generous and wise leader, people often asked him what had changed him so. He would smile softly and say, "Once I despised a man who had nothing, but in the end he gave me more than all my riches could ever buy. He taught me that no one is too small to make a difference, and no one is so great that they do not need help." Armin never saw the beggar again, but he knew that he would always carry his lesson in his heart. For it is true, never despise or mock anyone, for they may be the very person who saves you from destruction.